The crack of hammers on spiles shattered the forest quiet. Mark Ellison's truck skidded to a stop on the gravel fire road. Through the windshield, he saw volunteers in Maplewood HOA vests swarming his sugar bush, buckets swinging.
80 trees at least. They'd driven metal taps into bark older than their entire subdivision.
Oh, sweetheart, this is a community sugaring tradition. Relax, we're just tapping what nature provides.
You're on my land. I never gave permission. Those spiles are damaging trees worth thousands.
Mark didn't argue. He raised his phone and documented every tree, every fresh wound, every bucket.
Go ahead, take all the pictures you want. This fundraiser will earn the HOA $5,000, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Mark turned away and walked to his truck, phone still recording.
Don't forget to leave a review on our Maplewood Heritage syrup.
80 trees. She just handed me the evidence on a silver platter.
He pulled out the pink blazer, shrinking in the mirror. The time-stamped photos were already in the cloud. Mark drove straight to the district forestry office, the images of metal taps burning behind his eyes. The trespass wasn't fading.
That pink blazer made a serious mistake. She tapped 80 maples I've been tending for 30 years.
Monday morning, his desk was already swamped when a thick stack landed with a thud. The bi-weekly permit renewals had arrived. The top sheet read Maplewood HOA. Timber stand permit renewals. 14 applications. He flipped through them one by one.
Tree, pruning, critical removal. The Werner Hobby Orchard, a fire suppression cutting plan for the clubhouse. Everything they have needs my signature. He pulled his state forestry badge from the drawer, the red circle glinting under fluorescent light. This badge signs every tree permit in the county.
He set the badge beside the stack of applications. For a long moment, he just stared.
She didn't know who owned those maples. She certainly doesn't know who licenses her entire development.
Mark reached for the heavy denied stamp on his desk. His thumb rested on the handle.
Let's see how their syrup fundraiser tastes without a single valid timber permit.
3 days later, the Maplewood Heritage Syrup Festival filled the clubhouse parking lot. Donna Pembleton stood beside a banner, stacking amber jars on folding tables.
Welcome, neighbors. Today we celebrate our community's sweetest tradition, pure maple syrup from our own backyard.
The cash box overflowed as residents paid $24 per jar. Donna's smile widened with every sale.
This is found money, folks. Pure profit for the HOA, and it didn't cost us a dime.
Donna, this is remarkable. With these proceeds, we can finally build that playground the kids have been asking for.
That evening, the HOA board convened in Gerald Haskin's home office. The syrup sales had energized everyone.
The Syrup Festival brought in nearly $5,000. I move we establish this as an annual tradition.
Seconded. It's low effort, high reward. The trees are just sitting there.
That forest has been there for decades. Nobody even knows who owns it. It's practically community property.
The vote was unanimous. Donna left the meeting feeling invincible, the cash box heavy in her arms. Back at his office, Mark sat at his desk, the permit renewals before him. He picked up the heavy denied stamp.
14 applications. 14 chances to remind them who really controls the trees on their lots.
One by one, he stamped each renewal with deliberate, satisfying force. The red ink bled through the cheap copy paper.
A cover letter. Cite the ongoing investigation into regional forestry violations. Make it documented and irreversible.
He typed the final line. Pursuant to an ongoing investigation of reported unauthorized timber harvesting, all Maplewood HOA permit renewals are hereby denied effective immediately. He sealed the letters into thick, certified envelopes and personally walked them into the post office. His badge clipped to his belt. He watched the clerk scan each tracking number, then turned and walked out without another word.
Now, they're in the system. No going back. No appeal. that can bypass my desk.
He started the engine and pulled onto the highway, the forest passing by his window, stark and silent.
Now we wait.
The certified letter arrived on a Thursday. Gerald Haskins slit the envelope open at his desk with the careful calm of a man who has never received bad news.
Denied. The fire suppression cutting plan for the clubhouse, denied.
He grabbed the phone and dialed Donna, his voice tight.
Donna, the state denied our clubhouse permit. I am holding the letter. It cites an ongoing investigation. What investigation?
Probably a clerical error, Gerald. Some new clerk misfiled something. I'll call the forestry office first thing tomorrow.
This isn't a misfile. The language is formal unauthorized timber harvesting. We need this fixed before the board meeting.
Relax. I know people in that department. One call and it's sorted. Trust me.
Gerald hung up, staring at the word denied, stamped in red. His gut said this was something worse. That same afternoon, 12 identical envelopes landed in mailboxes across Maplewood, each one a silent countdown. At his desk, Mark refreshed the certified tracking. 14 delivered. He closed the laptop and leaned back, the badge heavy against his chest. The next morning, Donna Pembleton dialed the state forestry office from her clubhouse desk, a reheated coffee going cold beside her.
This is Donna Pembleton, Maplewood, HOA. I need to speak with someone about our permit renewals.
The receptionist transferred her. After a single ring, a voice she couldn't place yet answered.
State Forester, Mark Ellison. How can I help you, Miss Pembleton?
Donna frowned. The name meant nothing, but the baritone rasp felt like a half-remembered threat.
All Maplewood permits are under review, pending an investigation into unauthorized timber harvesting. The denials will stand.
This is ridiculous. I want to speak to your supervisor, whoever's in charge of this department.
I am the supervisor, Miss Pembleton, and you were on my land last Saturday. 80 maples.
Donna's breath caught. The pieces clicked. The gravel road, the phone camera, the green jacket. The line clicked dead. She stared at the phone, hand trembling, the silence in the clubhouse louder than a scream. Donna burst through Gerald's front door without knocking. The denial letter crumpled in her fist. Her high heels clacked across the hardwood.
Gerald, the state forester is the same man whose maples we tapped. Mark Ellison, he denied everything personally.
The man from the property line. The one you said wouldn't be a problem?
Gerald's face went slack. He reached for his phone and called an emergency board meeting for that evening. By 7 o'clock, Carla Meeks arrived with a binder full of forestry regulations, her clipboard already marked with flagged sections.
I've read the entire Forest Practices Code. Appeals go to the same forester. He has final sign-off, no override from the town.
Then we offer him a cut of the syrup sales. Everyone has a price. We'll make this go away before residents ask questions.
He won't take money. He told me to my face, this isn't about cash. He wants to bury us.
We can try to negotiate, but if he refuses, we're stuck. No permits mean no pruning, no removals, nothing.
The board agreed to approach Mark quietly with a cash offer, hoping money could fix what pride had broken. They didn't yet understand the insurance clause he'd left ticking. 2 days later, Gerald Haskins and Donna Pembleton walked up Mark Ellison's gravel drive, a $5,000 cashier's check tucked in Gerald's breast pocket.
Here. $5,000. That's more than enough for a few buckets of sap. Now lift the denials.
You trespassed on my land. You damaged 80 trees. This isn't about money.
Look, we made a mistake, but 5,000 is generous. Take it, and we all move on. No hard feelings.
Mistake. You planned a festival, sold my syrup, and voted to make it annual. That's not a mistake. That's theft.
What do you want? An apology? Fine. I am sorry. Now lift the denials so we can get back to normal.
An apology won't heal the bark you gouged. The investigation continues. Your permits stay denied.
You are making enemies, Ellison. The HOA has deep pockets and a good lawyer. You'll regret this.
They still don't understand. This isn't about permits. It's about everything their development rests on.
Mark didn't move as they retreated down the lane. The check lay crumpled on the gravel, a token of a war they didn't know they'd already lost. Donna sat at the clubhouse computer, the failed negotiation gnawing at her. She opened the Maplewood forum with a vengeful click.
As she typed, she muttered aloud, "Our community is under attack. A neighboring landowner has weaponized the forestry department against us."
As her post ignited the forum, across town, Linda Quist opened a certified envelope. A hazard tree notice fell onto her kitchen table, stamped UArgent.
She dialed Carla, voice tight with fear. The insurance company says they'll cancel unless we remove the maple over my daughter's room. We need a permit. Carla pulled up the state forestry database at her desk. Linda, every Maplewood permit is denied. Even hazard removals need authorization from the forester. The forester froze everything pending an investigation. Any unpermitted work could void policies completely. We're stuck. Linda's voice broke. The tree is leaning, Carla. After that storm, it groaned all night. My little girl sleeps right under it. Don't touch anything. I'll bring this to the board tonight. We'll find a way, I promise.
Carla hung up, but the weight of the call settled on her. For the first time, the permit crisis wasn't abstract. It was a child's bedroom, a mother's panic, a tree that could fall. She grabbed her keys. The board needed to hear this tonight. That night, the clubhouse felt colder than autumn. Carla spread her notes like evidence. Gerald sat at the head, Donna's smile gone.
We have 3 families with hazard tree notices and a denial letter for every permit. This is no longer a dispute.
I counted. 312 lots, all frozen. No pruning, no removals, no clearing after storms. Every tree needs his signature.
My insurance agent called. Without a permit for that split maple on the common drive, our umbrella policy is at risk.
He's bluffing. He's one man with a stamp. We're an HOA with a legal fund. We don't negotiate with terrorists.
This isn't about money, Donna. It's about safety. The Quist family has a tree threatening their daughter's bedroom. We can't wait.
2 more cancellation warnings came in today. If those policies lapse, the mortgage companies will demand immediate fixes.
Then let them sue. This is exactly what he wants, us tearing each other apart. We need to stand united.
United behind what? Your syrup festival started this. We're facing a regulatory chokehold because you decided to play farmer.
The room fell silent. Donna's face flushed. The board sat frozen. 312 lots hanging in the balance. No way forward. The next morning, the phone on Mark's desk rang twice before he lifted the receiver. The caller ID read Office of the Insurance Commissioner.
This is State Forester Ellison. You are calling about the Maplewood HOA permits.
The liaison's voice crackled through. Are the denials formal and final? Several insurers want confirmation before proceeding with cancellations.
They are. 14 applications stamped and documented, all citing active investigation into unauthorized timber harvesting.
He attached the scanned denials to an email and hit send. On the other end of the line, a pause, then a low whistle. The liaison said, "That's airtight. Without current permits, their tree coverage is void. They can't prune a twig without your signature."
That's the point. The denials stay until the investigation concludes.
Mark replaced the receiver. The state had just sealed the chokehold. 312 lots now faced cascading policy cancellations.
No shortcuts, no political override. Just the law, applied by the man they decided to steal from.
He turned his chair toward the window. Somewhere beyond the tree line, the Maplewood board was waking to a disaster they'd brought on themselves. 2 days later, the clubhouse was standing room only. Linda Quist held up her cancellation letter, face wet with tears, as the board took the stage.
My insurance is gone. They canceled because of a tree leaning over my daughter's bedroom. And you people created this mess.
Arthur Kemp rose, red-faced. My premium tripled overnight. I can't pay that. Who is responsible for this?
Now, everyone, let's stay calm. This is just a temporary delay in permits. We'll negotiate.
The room erupted. A wave of shouting and boos drowned her out. Gerald banged his gavel until it cracked.
Order. We understand your anger, but shouting won't fix this. We are exploring every option.
A man in the back yelled, "You tapped the wrong man's trees. He's licensing everything we own."
Carla stepped forward, voice shaking. Appeals take months. There is no state override. Unless the forester lifts the denials, we're stuck.
Donna tried again. We need to stand together, but the crowd's roar swallowed her words.
The board sat paralyzed as residents demanded resignations and solutions. For the first time, Donna Pembleton had no answer. This next morning, Gerald Haskins walked up Mark Ellison's gravel lane alone. No pink blazer beside him, a manila folder his only shield.
What do you want to end this?
3 things. Full restitution for every jar of my syrup you sold, a written apology read publicly at your town meeting, and a perpetual easement granting me unrestricted access through your roads to my back acreage.
That's extreme. You are asking us to give you a key to our entire development forever.
Number. I am asking for what the law allows. You trespassed. You stole. The easement ensures it never happens again. Accept my terms, and the permits are reinstated. Your insurance crisis ends. Refuse, and that maple leaning over Linda Quist's daughter comes down on your conscience.
He's not bluffing. This is the price, and it's carved in stone.
Mark said nothing more. He simply waited, the badge on his jacket, catching the light. Gerald turned and walked away, the terms burning in his brain. He'd have to sell this to a board that couldn't agree on the color of clubhouse paint. Behind him, Mark remained motionless. The perpetual easement he demanded was never really about convenience. It was about making sure the next generation of sugar maples outlived every house in Maplewood. Gerald walked into his own living room like a man returning from a funeral. Carla, Donna, and Arthur were already seated around the mahogany table.
The forester demands public apology, full restitution, and a perpetual easement through our roads. That's take it or leave it.
Absolutely not. You are asking us to grovel. This is surrender. We might as well hand him the keys to our homes.
Donna, we have no permits. Families are losing coverage. My own premium tripled. What's the alternative? 100 lawsuits.
I don't like it either, but we're out of time and options. I call a vote. All in favor of accepting Ellison's terms?
Carla's hand went up. Arthur's followed after a pained pause. Donna sat stone still, arms crossed. 3-2.
3-2, but the motion fails without a majority. I am breaking the tie. We accept, for the sake of 312 families.
You'll all regret this. Mark my words. You've just given a dictator power over our community.
She grabbed her purse and stormed out, the front door slamming behind her. The remaining 3 sat in stunned silence. The board had chosen survival over pride, but the fracture was absolute. One loose cannon still burned. Donna drove home in silence, the vote replaying like a bad song. By midnight, she was on the phone with the HOA's attorney, voice raw.
There has to be a way. He can't just deny permits forever because we hurt his feelings.
The attorney's answer was clipped and final. The state forester's discretion is absolute in pending investigations. No appeal, no injunction. She opened the Maplewood Forum, fingers clattering. She typed a blazing post. The board was surrendering sovereignty, selling access to an outsider forever.
Let's see them stand united when they read this.
The comments didn't rally. My premium doubled. Can he stop my cancellation? Fear had smothered any appetite for rebellion. The next morning, Gerald found her at the clubhouse, still in yesterday's clothes, the screen glowing with angry words.
Stop trying to burn the neighborhood down, Donna. You lost the vote. People are terrified.
You are taking his side? After everything I did for this community?
I am taking the side of 312 families who can't sleep because they might lose their homes. It's over, Donna.
That afternoon, Carla Meeks sat hunched over her laptop in Gerald's office, turning Mark's demands into legal language. The easement draft ran 4 pages.
Make sure unrestricted access is exact. He won't accept vague language.
At 6 o'clock, Gerald hit send. The email landed in Mark's inbox with a single-word subject, settlement. Mark opened the attachment, reading each clause with the same scrutiny he gave timber harvest plans.
Unrestricted access. No gate, no guard. He circled the phrase and wrote the edit in the margin. He typed, approved with edits. I'll be at the clubhouse Friday, 7 p.m.
Carla posted the meeting notice on every Maplewood platform. Special town meeting. Maplewood Heritage Syrup resolution. The comments filled with fear, not fury. Will our insurance come back? Is this finally over?
Friday, 2 days. Then we can start breathing again if the neighborhood holds together.
Across town, Mark set the easement document on his desk, a red ink edit beside his badge. The clock started ticking. By Thursday afternoon, Gerald Haskins had the finalized apology script. He drove it to Donna Pembleton's condo himself.
She opened the door in a silk robe, her smile vanishing when she saw the papers. What is that?
The settlement requires you to read this at the meeting. Every word.
She flipped through it, nostrils flaring. I won't do it. I won't humiliate myself in front of those people.
Then the board will seek damages against you personally for the insurance losses. Your policy, your responsibility.
Donna's face went tight. Her jaw worked as she calculated the math of personal liability.
Lawsuits, liens, my 401k, drained. The pink blazer suddenly felt like a target.
She snatched a pen from the hall table and scrawled her initials on every page.
I'll do it, but after this I am done with this neighborhood. You can have your little fiefdom.
Gerald watched her hand tremble, the ink bleeding through the cheap copy paper. The clock on her wall read 4:47 p.m. Friday evening. The Maplewood clubhouse overflowed. Residents stood shoulder to shoulder, a local news camera aimed at the stage. Mark Ellison leaned against the back wall, badge on his jacket, arms crossed. He'd waited weeks for this. Donna Pembleton walked to the podium in a pale pink blazer, her face ashen. The apology script trembled in her grip.
My name is Donna Pembleton. On behalf of the HOA board, I acknowledge we willfully trespassed on private property. We tapped 80 sugar maples belonging to Mark Ellison without consent and sold the syrup for profit. It was theft. The HOA offers full restitution of all proceeds and pays for an arborist to treat every tree. We are deeply sorry.
When she finished, Gerald Haskins stepped forward with a leather folder containing the perpetual easement. He extended it toward Mark.
Unrestricted access. No gate, no guard, forever.
Mark accepted the document, gave a single, deliberate nod, and slid it into his jacket. The room was silent. Donna stood frozen at the podium, the weight of 312 families' judgment pressing down. No one clapped. Mark turned and walked out of the silent clubhouse. Outside, the night air tasted like sap and victory. He reached his pickup, where Gerald Haskins waited with a cashier's check and a signed contract for an arborist to treat all 80 trees.
Full restitution, as agreed. And the tree care starts Monday.
Good.
Mark drove past the Maplewood entrance gate, now legally open for him forever, and onto the gravel fire road that cut through the HOA's development. He crossed the boundary into his own land without slowing. The headlights caught the familiar shape of sugar maples in the dark. He parked beside the largest maple, The one he'd first seen spiled. Someone had nailed a fresh tag onto it. Property of Mark Ellison. He touched the tag, then looked up through the branches. The wound was still there, but it would heal.
That's better.
He pocketed the easement and the check. The forest silent around him. The sap would run again next spring, on his terms. A week later, morning sun slanted through the sugar maples. Mark Ellison sat on his cabin porch, a mug of coffee steaming beside him. His forestry badge lay on the table, the red circle catching the light. Beside it, a glass jar of amber syrup, his own, tapped from a tree he'd guarded untouched. He opened the jar. The scent of pure maple filled the porch. He poured it over a stack of pancakes, slow and deliberate.
They wanted community tradition. I want a forest that outlives their HOA.
He took a bite, then set his fork down and looked out at the sugar bush. 80 trees, healing, still standing. The noise of the HOA meeting felt distant now. What remained was the quiet of a forest where no one would tap without asking again.
Was it worth it?
He watched a single leaf spiral down from the crown of the old maple. The answer wasn't in words. He picked up his badge, turned it over, then set it beside the syrup jar. The red circle and the amber liquid seemed the same color now. In the end, the sap ran sweeter on his own terms. The perpetual easement hung framed on his office wall, the red edit still visible. No gate, no guard. At the town farmer's market, a glass jar of amber syrup sat on a wooden counter. A small label read, "Property of Mark Ellison." The forest behind the stall was lush with summer green, not a single unauthorized tap in sight. The maples stood unharmed, their wounds sealed by an arborist and time.
80 trees, all mine.
He walked the boundary line, the easement in his pocket, and a tap hammer in his hand. He tapped a tree he'd drilled the year prior, a bucket swinging below. The syrup that flowed was his alone, a sweetness that no HOA could ever claim. The easement stayed framed, but its real power was the quiet of a forest no one dared touch again. Sunlight washed over the sugar maples, the only sound the drip of sap into a tin bucket. Late winter, a single tap hammer echoed through the sugar bush. Mark knelt beside a massive maple, its trunk wide as a door, and drove the spile home. A fresh galvanized bucket hung beneath, ready to catch the first sweet run. He stepped back, wiped the drill shavings from his gloves, and patted the bark. There was no pink blazer, no clipboard, no one to argue property lines.
He smiled. The land knew its owner. Every drop of sap was his signature.
The first clear drip caught the afternoon light, a tiny amber gem. He listened. Drip, drip, drip. The rhythm of a forest that would outlast them all. When you own the land and the law, nobody takes what's yours. The sap dripped on, steady and undeniable. And then the screen faded to black.